Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Bonnet gang again. Yeah. Bonnet gang. I'm sorry, guys. My voice is still screwed up because I'm still getting over a bad cold, so it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But welcome to another edition of True Crime Strategic. I appreciate you guys for showing love to me. We've been focusing on Nancy Guthrie, but we had to take a break to talk about D4VD because we've got some really, really good news for you, ladies and gentlemen. And what do we have here? We have now received definitive proof. That's right, definitive proof that David is under investigation for the murder of Celeste. That's right. Let's give a yay for that one. We've been waiting a long time for that. So we got a really nice presentation we're going to go through. Big shout out to the research crew. We know we love our research crew. We're going to go through this presentation. At the end of this presentation, we're going to show you the proof that David Anthony Burke, a.k.a. D4VD, is currently under investigation for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, Celeste, you know, I don't like getting biblical with you guys too much. But when I think of Celeste, I think about Cain and Abel. I really think that David was jealous of Celeste. David wanted to be Celeste. And he killed her, in my opinion. And what makes me think about Celeste and Cain and Abel is that if you're a religious person, if you believe in God, the Christian God, if you don't, it's okay. You know, we love everybody here. I'm just giving you an analogy. When God went to Cain in that meadow, he said, "Where's your brother?" And he said that his blood was crying out from the soil. In my mind, Abel's blood was crying for justice. That's what Celeste is crying for right now. She's crying for justice.
Does that make sense?
It's been like, 5-6 months, and this little girl has not gotten her justice yet. But we're on the road for justice. You're going to get your justice. All right, so we're going to jump into this, guys. I appreciate you guys immensely for joining me. Make sure that you hit that like button, support the channel so we can get into the algorithm. We have almost 200 people watching us right now with only 55 likes. You guys could do a whole lot better than that. We hope you can. We hope we deserve those likes. So show us love so we can get into the algorithm and the show can be shown to a wider audience. So we're going to get you the timeline. We're going to go through the timeline, and then we're going to kind of bring you to where we at right now, where we have the updates. Let me move Bonnet Gang's photo. Bonnet Gang. We're going to move him over here with me. Come on over here with me, David. Come sit with Daddy. He likes sitting on dudes' laps anyway. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that if you roll that way, but that's what David likes to do. Anyway, let's bring David over here with me. Hi, David. David, you above me. Hi. Hi, David. Okay, let's keep going. All right, December 30th, 2024, 11:57 p.m. SF Investigates says, on the night of December 30th through the morning of December 31st, 2024, David and Celeste were together in downtown Los Angeles. Remember, FS Investigates has access to the photos that David took on his phone. They were able to get that. They had a USB drive that they found at the house that the police didn't find. The police didn't find that USB drive. Remember we talked about this Keystone Cop stuff? You investigated a murder and you left behind a USB drive? Well, SF Investigate found that USB drive. So he has access to thousands of photos that Celeste and David took together so that he can put together a timeline. Does LAPD have this timeline? I know they have this timeline because SF Investigates shared everything that he has with the LAPD. But isn't that kind of crazy that a private investigator is doing your job? As a detective, I would feel ashamed that a private investigator is doing my job. I'd be pissed off. If I wouldn't be pissed off with the private investigator, I'd be pissed off with myself. But anyway, let's keep going. So SF Investigator says, where several photos were taken in public, Celeste was 14 years old at the time and about 70 miles from her home in Lake Elsinore. Whether she was sober that night is open to interpretation. We know she was drunk. Look at her eyes. She was drunk. She was under the influence of what? We don't know. Maybe alcohol, we would hope, because there's so many other things she could have been under the influence of. But let's keep going. There is photo evidence of them together again on January 2nd, 2025. Then on January 8th, a sizable crew was filming a music video with David out of state And by January 11th, David is in his hometown in Texas. On January 20th, 2025, he is on a Delta flight. So the question is, where was Celeste between January 3rd and January 20th, 2025? Can anyone account for her during that time? There were many people present at the music video shoot. Did anyone see her there? What about in his hometown in Texas? Does anyone have any proof of life for Celeste Rivas Hernandez after January 2nd, 2025? This is the photo that was taken on January 30th, 2024 at 11:57 p.m. with Celeste clearly looking like she's under the influence. Let's keep going. January 31st, 2024, this is David with his black nail polish and his knife. He likes knives. Let's keep going. Is David holding a knife? Clearly he is. Looks that way to me. This is a photo that was distributed by SF Investigates. December 31st, 2024 at around 10 p.m. This is a party they're having. You see him vaping. David vaping. You see Neo with a beer in his hand. You see a phone on the table. It looks like this is Celeste's phone. And you see alcohol on the table. You see the Hello Kitty cup. On December 31st, 2024 at 10 p.m., several people were at David's house. Although Celeste Rivas Hernandez is not clearly visible in any of the photos from the evening, we believe she was present. The iPhone she had previously been pictured with appears to match the phone and case seen on the table, along with a Hello Kitty mug. Another photo, which appears to have been taken by David, shows what are likely Celeste's fingers on a bottle. What kind of bottle? Was it an alcoholic bottle? I'm not sure. Bonnet gang. Let's keep going. The phone that is likely Celeste appears to be on the Wi-Fi setting screen and connected to the Wi-Fi network. Even though iPhone uses a private Wi-Fi address feature, the address remains fixed to a specific network, meaning it stays the same each time that device reconnects to that router. Hopefully, law enforcement investigators have reviewed the router logs to determine exactly when Celeste's phone and everyone else's phone were connected to the home's Wi-Fi network and compared that information against the statement each person provided about when they were at the house and who else was there, including Celeste. Yeah, that's a really good point, man. For example, if individuals in the photos, including these photos and many others, claim they did not see Celeste or were not at the house, yet the router logs showed that their phone was connected to the Wi-Fi, that would raise serious questions. You can also do that with the geolocation based off of the towers as well. So there's a lot of different mechanisms you could use to tie them to that location, but the router one is going to be probably the most accurate, because not only will you be able to get the MAC address, the IP address, even if it's just a private address or whatever that they use on iPhone. iPhone seems they like to make phones for terrorists, in my opinion. Everything that they do, regular people use iPhones, but they lock it down like they want to protect terrorists. I don't understand how that works. I'm all about privacy, but Apple goes an extra level to help pedophiles. I mean, I'm dead serious, because the average person doesn't care, right? This only becomes a problem when somebody like me is doing an investigation and I'm trying to get into an iPhone because I'm trying to arrest a pedophile. And I'm having problems because iPhone is locking it down so much. Like, who are you protecting? Because the average person will never need to use these protections that you seem to put on your phones. And nobody else is putting these type of protections on their phones. Anyway, it's a different conversation. I apologize. It's a little frustration of me doing my work in the real world, trying to investigate very bad people who all choose iPhones because they know that iPhone makes it extraordinarily difficult for law enforcement to do their investigations. Anyway, let's keep going. For example, if individuals in the photo include these photos and many others claim they did not see Celeste, we already read that. Let's go down to the next paragraph. We cannot forget about Celeste or the justice she deserves. It has now been more than 5 months and no charges have been filed. The last photo of Celeste is not from that night. It's from another time and meant to show her phone to compare with the phone on the table. Interesting stuff. December 31st, 2024, at around 10 p.m. Let's keep going. This is the other Celeste. What's the odds of that? You got two Celestes in your circle? Look at all that alcohol on the table. Now, there's nothing wrong with all this alcohol on the table because all these people are adults except for Celeste. And her hands is on some alcohol. Everything on that table is them getting pissy drunk. And it looks like they got some type of pills or something stacked up over here. I don't know what's going on. They got vapes. That look like a vape cartridge there. Looked like some beers, some Chinese beers, some more alcohol. Looked like some juice, some cranberry juice to mix. They got an empty bottle of vodka. They got a lot going on here. A lot going on. So L says Aisha is stating she never knew the girl, but oh yeah, that's her friend. If the other Celeste is there, Aisha is likely there since she states that that's her best friend. I don't see her not going where she is and David in the mix too. She knows more than she's letting on. Or this is the smallest possibility ever. She's clueless as F and has her head up her booty and paid attention to nothing. The biggest question I have is, what the hell are they doing in this photo? It looks like a lot of underage drinking, smoking drugs, and ish. Is the person who isn't cooperating the older Celeste? Could be. It's possible. We still don't know who that female was now. I have seen her say anything about this besides she's the other Celeste. But isn't that her in that picture? She knows a lot more than she's presenting. Yeah, interesting. And SF Investigates writes, she was there. I just didn't use a picture that included her, but she was there that night. So SF is saying that Aisha was 1,000% there. And he's saying he just didn't put that picture out there, but SF is saying that she was there. So Allie's throwing shade like, oh, how is the elder Celeste Herrera there, and then Aisha's not there? And SF is saying, oh, yes, she was there. I just didn't put that out there. So Aisha was there. Aisha knew. We already put out the conversation where Aisha knew. Aisha knew. She 1,000% knew, she just didn't care. Just like Celeste Herrera didn't care, just like Neo didn't care. None of these people cared that D4VD was banging a little girl. Nobody cared. But we care now. Now we all care that we found her in a trunk. Now we care. Yeah. But when it was time to save her life, or at least just make it go away, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, but I want life. I want her to live. At least say, yo, David, you got to stop this, man. You're about to be a superstar. Stop this relationship. Somebody could have saved this girl, but nobody cared. All these people cared about was their own clout, that they could stick around David, build their own platforms out, and be their own celebrities. That's all they cared about. Let's keep going. Let's keep going down memory lane, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's happening here. Hold on. Somebody said, Jen Garay 79 says, at Strategic Guys, Chris McDonald of the Interview Room, 25 years of California PD with 13 years in homicide, mentioned that the glove was found prior to the FBI involvement because the glove was found on day one. Oh, that's very interesting. All right, we'll have to look into that more to get our own sources on that. But that would be very interesting that they're saying that the glove was found on day one. We'll look into it. We don't just take anything. We got to definitely verify it for ourselves. But interesting. Thank you. And that's in reference to the Nancy Guthrie case, by the way. But we're covering that case too, so we definitely appreciate every single lead that we can get. Also, try and send me these leads via email, guys. Send them via email so I can really look into them. And send me links as well. Links, a comment, and a link. Sometimes people just send me an email with a link. I'm not going to want to click those links because there's something called spam out there, and I don't want to get a virus on my computer. So if you're going to send me something, explain to me what you're sending me, what I'm going to see, and the link, and then I will check it out. If you just send me a link, I'm not clicking it because I get a whole bunch of spam and fraudulent emails with people trying to sell me things and all this, and like I'm going to fall for it. So I don't just click. People be sending me links like they're the CIA, like, don't ask no questions. Just click this link. It's not that serious, people. Let me know what you're sending me, and then we definitely gonna rock and roll with it. All right, so December 31st, 2024 at 10 p.m. Perhaps this is Celeste's phone again. Okay, this is Celeste. This is the phone. Big shout out to SF Investigates one more time. December 34th, 10 p.m. once again. Perhaps this is Celeste's phone yet again. January 2nd, 2025, 5:05 p.m. The last known photograph of Celeste, Baldwin Hills, California. 1 year ago today, January 2nd, 2025, is the date of the last known photo my investigation has uncovered of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, It is important to emphasize that law enforcement investigators have access to more extensive resources and may very well have images or evidence from after this date. This is not to suggest that anything specific happened on that date, only that it is the last confirmed time and date stamp piece of evidence I have showing when Celeste was alive. According to the image metadata, the photo was taken at 5:05 p.m. on January 2nd, 2025. Geolocation analysis shows it was taken in Baldwin Hills, California. She's looking sad in this photo. She's looking sad in this photo. And we've seen this hoodie afterwards in David's hotel room or something like that. So we have seen this hoodie before. Every time we see her, you know, she's got the hobo hoodies on. It is what it is. Hit that like button, support the channel. We have over 200 people watching this live stream right now. We need more likes so we can get into that algorithm. We appreciate you. Thank you for the support in advance. Part 2, Burke's and the petitions for writs of habeas corpus. So now we're going to prove to you guys that David is officially under investigation. We've heard rumors, but now we've got court documents to prove it. And this is huge because we are on the road to justice, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the road to justice. And when D4VD, aka David, gets arrested, I'm going to go to the court to support him because I support David. Yeah, you gotta say you're being sarcastic because people be like, what? You support David? What? I'm going to that court. I'm telling you right now, if David goes to court, I'm going to Cali, people. We're going to make a vacation out. We're going to Cali. I'm going to put the bonnet on. I'm going to put the glasses, and I'm going to court to support David. Hopefully support him in his guilty plea. David, I support you in pleading guilty, okay? Because Celeste needs justice. So we going out there. We're going to put the bonnet on. You think they'll let me into the court with a bonnet and some glasses on? We'll have to find out. We're going to try. Bonnet gang, let's keep going. So this is going to be definitive proof, ladies and gentlemen, that David is being investigated. There we go. It appears that Colleen Burke, that's David's mother, DeWood, I don't know how to say his name, DeWood Burke, David's father, and his brother, Caleb Burke, David's brother, have all been identified as material witnesses, subpoenaed to testify in connection with the alleged grand jury. Remember, everybody knew, including David's family, about Celeste, Rivas, Hernandez. They all knew. We showed you guys those photos. We went on the Reddit, the RIB, the Reddit Investigation Bureau, who's been on top of this since day one. We showed you guys multiple pictures of Celeste with his mother, Celeste with his brother, Celeste with his managers, Celeste with Neo, Celeste with all these different people. We showed you those pictures. We showed you them backstage with the Dark Horse, Dark Souls production people, the demon people, the Robert Morgenthals. Those are the demons. We showed you, though. We showed you her sitting with these folks. So they can't say that they didn't know that Celeste existed. We showed you David blowing kisses and hearts to her from the stage. Everybody knew that that was his boo thing. They all knew that that was his boo thing. And then they're going to pretend like they thought she was 25 when she looks like she's 12. That's what they're going to say. Oh, I thought she was an adult. Oh, they told me she went to university at Berkeley, but she not going to school. How you going to University of Berkeley and you living with David? Were you taking online classes or something? Come on. You can't tell a baby when you see a baby. We're going to start calling. So the bad guy's going to start calling. That's what the pedophile is going to say now. They're going to say, oh, I thought she was 25 and she's only 6 years old. Unbelievable. Anyway, however, they all filed petition for writs of habeas corpus in the 506 District Court of Texas, Hempstead, Texas, and the Texas 1st District Court of Appeals. What did they say? A petition of writ of habeas corpus is a formal written request to a court asking it to review whether the government is lawfully restraining a person's liberty. The Burkes would have received subpoenas, and since they were deemed to be material witnesses, they can be forced to testify at risk of being detained under 18 U.S.C. 3144, which allows for detainment of material witnesses who do not comply with a lawful subpoena. So we saw that happen with Neo. Under that provision, Neo was taken into custody and brought back to California. What is a material witness? A material witness is someone whose testimony is relevant to a fact of issue, is significant enough that a criminal proceeding would be impaired without it, unique and not easily obtained from other sources. Let's keep going. 506th District Court of Waller County, Texas. Caleb's case. Let's do it. Here we go. Are you ready? This is who they made the claim to in Texas. The state of Texas versus Caleb Burke. Each one is going to be for each family member. So the case type is civil case related to a criminal matter. These are the dispositions. Texas First District Court of Appeals denied all 3 petitions for writ of habeas corpus. All 3. Caleb Burke, that's the brother. Caleb Burke denied. Colleen Burke, case details. Colleen Burke denied. Dawood Burke, case details. Dawood Burke denied. You not working? In the footnote of each detail. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We about to take this home right now. We're going to bring it home for you. The underlying case is the case by which they have brought forth this writ of habeas corpus. The underlying case in California that they're trying to dodge. They're trying to dodge. It's the people of the state of California versus David Burke. Amazing. So these are like the additional details. Big shout out to the research crew for doing an amazing job. But just to give you guys just a quick little dibble and dabble of it, but we don't have to go through all of them. But amazing job from the research crew. Amazing job. Denied. The people of the state of California versus David Burke. The people versus California. The people of the state of California versus David Burke.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, ladies and gentlemen. What's going over here? Wow. This is Better Pictures. We already read that, though. We went through that. This is the actual full text from SF Investigates. I definitely encourage you to go follow SF Investigates. This is them partying, drinking the alcohol, using the drugs, the whole 9. You know, this is it. Unbelievable. These are the court documents. SF Investigates brought this out. Actually, somebody hit me up who's a part of the RIB. They actually broke these documents first, and then they sent them to SF Investigates, and then they sent them to me. Why you ain't send it to me first? Don't be giving me your sloppy seconds. I know you're watching this right now. They said, oh, I sent it to SF Investigates first, then I sent it to you. And mine, I'm like, what? Huh? Why you ain't send it to me first, huh? Gee. Sloppy seconds in me. I like you, though. You keep emailing me, but don't be sloppy seconds in me. Wrong with you. Anyway, let's go over here. TMZ grand jury wants to grill them, but they're not down. Oh, my gosh. TMZ is too much. This looks like a big update in the D4VD case. Prosecutors want to call the singer's mother, father, and brother to testify before the grand jury in California, but David's family isn't giving in without a fight. Let's keep going. According to the new legal docs obtained by TMZ, David's family is claiming a court order summoning them to testify in California violates their due process rights. Now, how's that violating your due process if you have nothing to hide and you've done nothing wrong? Somebody said TMZ equals too much Zaza. You guys are crazy. Let's keep going. Dawood Colleen and Caleb Burke, who all live in Texas, claimed they were denied due process because they were given redacted versions of the affidavits used to support a lower Texas court's order summoning them to be witnesses in a California grand jury proceeding. So basically what they're saying is they wanted to see all the unredacted information that's on that affidavit so that they could be prepared if they come do the testimony. That's what they're saying. That's basically what they're saying. They want to know what was redacted because what's redacted could possibly help David by giving him an insight into the California's case. So really, they know that they're going to be forced to testify. They know this. What they're trying to do, this is very smart legalese right here. What they're trying to do is force the state of California to give them the unredacted documents so that they can get an inside peek into the state's case, which will in turn help them in their testimony when they go before the grand jury, and also help their son and their brother in his criminal case that will most likely end up happening. Because remember, a prosecutor could get a grand jury indictment on a ham sandwich. So it's most likely that David will be indicted. It's not guaranteed, but most likely he'll be indicted. It doesn't mean that he'll be found guilty in a court of law, but most likely he'll be indicted. If that's what they really want, that's what they're going to get. So let's keep going. That's interesting because we know there's been a grand jury convened since at least November in the Celeste Rivas murder case, and multiple witnesses have already testified. Our sources have told us David is likely to be charged with Celeste's murder. Let's keep going. David's family contends that because the affidavits were redacted, they had no info on why they would be considered material witnesses in the case, and they didn't have the opportunity to challenge the trial court's determination that they are, in fact, material witnesses. The statements here won't last forever. The appeals court set a 10-day deadline for the trial court judge to answer. We know at least two witnesses who have gone before the grand jury in the Rivas case: Roger Morgenroth, the president of D4VD's touring company, and Neil Langston, a popular streamer who was friends with David. And that's what TMZ has with that. Let's keep going. We've only been streaming for 26 minutes, man. It felt like we've been streaming for like an hour. Wow. It's going to be a short stream. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what Sidebar with Jesse Weber has. And well, he was throwing some shade over at Ashley Banfield on that Nancy Guthrie case. Don't act like we weren't seeing that. That was some heavy shade. I don't know. We're going to stay out of that, but Aki going to get mad at me. She's going to put the stop signs up. Don't do it, strategic. Don't get involved. I'm not getting involved. I'm just watching. I'm watching like the Super Bowl. Let's keep going.
Guy who's been looking into the Celeste Rivas Hernandez David case, this investigation, just posted two major updates about this. One, apparently new photos that may show Celeste with David at a key moment. And two, new legal paperwork that may prove there is in fact a criminal case against the singer and that his father may be being compelled to testify. So much to get into. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, before we go any further, I gotta tell you about today's.
Hold on, we gotta get past that sponsor. Here we go. Boom.
This is not as polished as we do other sidebars, which I kind of like at times. This is weird. Okay, this is a big development now in the David case.
Wait, look at Jesse's eyes though. He was hitting that blunt. Jesse was getting that purple haze, man. I think he in California too. You know he was on. No, I'm just messing with you. I like Jesse. Big fan of Jesse Weber. Please make sure that you subscribe to his channel. I love Law and Crime. You're not a true crime connoisseur if you don't have Court TV and Law and Crime as a part of your subscriptions. Anyway, let's keep going.
That we have been following. Remember, this is the case where 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was allegedly found in the trunk of a Tesla out in LA in September 8th. We believe that that Tesla was registered to singer David. Okay, there have been no arrests. There have been no charges. There have been reports that a grand jury is hearing evidence in this case. And then all of a sudden, we get these new messages, these new posts by Steve Fisher. Steve Fisher, somebody we've had on the show before. Steve is the private investigator who was hired by the owner of the property where David had apparently been staying. And this property is near where the Tesla was found, reportedly.
Right.
And Steve has been all involved in this. He's been on the ground there. So he posted two things I have to talk about. One is he posted something regarding these new photos. I don't think we've ever seen them before. Allegedly of Celeste, allegedly of David, key. And then he posted these legal filings that would suggest, A, there is in fact a criminal case against David Anthony Burke, real name for David, and B, is his father being compelled to testify against him. Wow. Okay. Let's take it step by step. I'm not doing it alone. I want to bring in legendary former homicide detective, Phil Waters. Phil, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this. As we're breaking it down kind of in real time, I have to first start with this post by Steve. I'm going to read it verbatim. We'll talk about it. On December 31st, 2024, at around 10 p.m., Several people were at David's house. Although Celeste Rivas Hernandez is not clearly visible in any of the photos from that evening, we believe she was present. The iPhone she had previously been pictured with appears to match the phone and case seen on the table, along with a Hello Kitty mug. Another photo, which appears to have been taken by David, shows what are likely Celeste's fingers on a bottle.
Okay.
The phone that is likely Celeste appears to be on the Wi-Fi.
If it's an alcoholic beverage and we could prove that Celeste is there, you're endangering the welfare of a child right now. You aiding and abetting the delinquency of a child. These are charges this guy could be charged with. But we know that they were lovers because Celeste said it from the grave. We read text messages of Celeste talking about having intercourse with David and it causing her to bleed. That's from her own words. Like, at the very least, we have a sex crime here. At the very least. Like, that should be irrefutable right there. All right? Like I told you guys, these type of cases when the victim is deceased is very difficult. But as time has gone on, we've seen evidence come out that shows that we can basically definitively say, allegedly, that David was involved in a relationship with Celeste. So at the very least, we should be looking into that. If he should be charged with that in addition to, whatever he did to her body or to end her life. And I find it hard to believe that with all these photos that these folks were taking, that they never took photos being intimate. And the reason why I'm hoping for that is because it can aid and abet in charging him. It could aid and abet in charging him by proving that he was involved in this relationship with this girl. Because somebody's got to pay for what happened to Celeste. Somebody's got to pay.
Settings screen and connected to the Wi-Fi network. Even though iPhones use a private Wi-Fi address feature, the address remains fixed for a specific network, meaning it stays the same each time that device reconnects to that router. Hopefully, law enforcement investigators have reviewed the router logs to determine exactly when Celeste's phone and everyone else's phones were connected to the home's Wi-Fi network and compared that information against the statements each person provided about when they were at the house and who else was there, including Celeste. For example, if individuals in the photos, including these photos and many others, claim they did not see Celeste or were not at the house, yet the router logs show their phone was connected to the Wi-Fi, that would raise serious questions. We cannot forget about Celeste or the justice she deserves. It has now been more than 5 months and no charges have been filed. The last photo of Celeste is not from that night. It's from another time and meant to show her phone to compare with the phone on the table. Hashtag Celeste Rivas Hernandez, hashtag David. When you look at these photos, there's one, it appears to be David, and then I think this looks like...
They're all wasted. They're all wasted. Look at Neo, he's wasted. This dude is wasted. They're just wasted.
Neil Langston, I could be wrong. Neil Langston is somebody who is, we reported was arrested out in Montana, was arrested out on a warrant for failing to appear as a witness, apparently was brought back to Los Angeles, and there was photographs of TMZ, videos of him entering a Los Angeles courtroom, so we believe it is likely he testified in the grand jury, although he apparently didn't testify for a long time. There is another photo, it says David taking photo, where it could, again, it's hard to tell if that person is Celeste, it might be someone else, it might be this person, Asia, who he's talked about. There's another photo of a phone, and then there's another photo of potentially Celeste. And then there's another photo, I think, just of Celeste herself. Okay, let's break this down. First of all, Phil, this is significant, I would say, because I believe Steve had said the last known photo they have of Celeste is January 2025. But what are you taking away from what he's suggesting, and what are you taking away from these photos?
Well, thanks for having me, Jesse. It's an interesting case, and presumably they're coming from some sort of social media, and they may have been posted by her,
or someone's phone. He might have had access
by David,
to
or somebody else, right?
Right.
They're out there, and I'm sure what law enforcement is doing is they're using these photos to develop a timeline. That's important, and whether or not she's in these pictures or not. Now, are the ages, we know Celeste is a juvenile. So are the
Mhm.
ages of these other people seen in these videos, are they adults?
They
Are
are.
they 18 years or older? So my point here is there that if she was there, if Celeste was there in this gathering, it may have been purposeful to not have her in photographs because of
Yeah, you know, big shout out to Jesse Weber. But like sometimes when these guests start freestyling, and you could kind of tell that they're not like intimately looking at the case, it turns me off. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go over to Sloan. Somebody said that Sloan did a video, and let's see what Sloan got going
David's
on.
parents are starting to be.
You know, I'm not saying that that guy's not knowledgeable. He sure is. Got a lot of experience, very knowledgeable person, but we're tracking this case. We're in it. So when we're talking about it, we want to make sure, we want to hear people who intimately understand this case, know this case, are speaking from that vantage point, you know? So let's keep going. Let's see what Sloan, because Sloan is covering this case. Let's see what Sloan got to say about this.
Be questioned by authorities. His father, who is a lawyer and connected to Jeffrey Epstein's legal team, has filed
Listen, people, listen, first of all, everybody keeps saying, I love Sloan. I don't love Sloan. All right. Strategic loves the ladies. You understand me? Don't get it twisted. But that man got some nice eyebrows. Sloan got some eyebrows. Look at them eyebrows on Sloan, man. Sloan got those eyebrows. Where's Sloan? Let's find Sloan. Get them eyebrows. Look at them eyebrows on Sloan. That man eyebrows look crazy. Them things is perfect. But don't get it twisted. Somebody say his eyebrows are snatched. All right, let's stop messing with Sloan. Sloan's doing a really good job. Listen, I got nothing but respect for everybody who is out here trying to get justice for Celeste. And Sloan is doing an amazing job getting us inside information. Of course, you take everything with a grain of salt because nobody knows what's truly going on out here but David, Celeste, God rest her soul, and the people who are actually doing this investigation. But listen, we're here to try and figure out what's going on the best way we can. All right, so let's get back into this. Sloan.
David's parents are starting to be questioned by authorities. His father, who is a lawyer and connected to Jeffrey Epstein's legal team, has filed documentation on behalf of himself, David's mother, and David's brother to try to stop the courts from arresting them for not showing up to testify against their son. Either they're trying to protect themselves or they're trying to buy David more time. So let's get into it. This user, Cassie Loves Inflow, wrote on X, I hate how everyone forgot about the David case. Well, we haven't. And I've got some updates for you guys.
Nah, I mean, listen, we got other things we got to cover, you know? All of us. So I'm not just Sloan, not just speaking for himself. He's speaking for all of us. You know, we got the Nancy Guthrie thing going on. We just got the Naziah Harris stuff. There's so much going on. This young girl who got murdered by the fake engineer dude from Roblox. We got more information on that. We're going to be covering that probably tonight or tomorrow. So there's a lot to cover on these, man.
It's because it looks like David's parents are throwing him under the bus. They don't want anything to do with his situation involving Celeste. So the prosecutors want to call David's parents, his mother and father, and his brother to come and testify before a grand jury in California. But David's family isn't giving in without a fight. Remember, David's father is actually a lawyer.
What are your parents like? Are they musicians?
Not at all. My dad is a litigator for a law firm. My mother was a teacher.
So, of course, he knows
So
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, OB said that he's not an attorney. He said he's some type of project manager, but he just said his father is a litigator. When you say litigator, I don't know. It says, okay, support manager, litigation support manager, CEDS, relatively mass. Yeah, don't say that he's, no, OB's right. It does not say that he is a lawyer. If he's a lawyer, it's going to say that here in his titles here. Litigation support manager. I don't even know what the hell that is. Man, well, let's keep going.
How to go and file paperwork to state that his due process and his family's due process was violated by being asked to.
Yeah, why would you say your father's a litigator on like national television? He's not a he's not an attorney. He's not even a paralegal. I don't know what the hell that is. A litigator support manager. Litigation support manager. What the? Let's keep going.
Leave their home in Texas.
I mean, I know he got paid a lot of money, so I'm not knocking the hustle. I just don't know what that is.
Come all the way to California to testify. Actually, interestingly enough, the firm that he works in Houston also has ties to the people who represented the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. So it's kind of bizarre that David's father has a connection to Jeffrey Epstein. This person writes, these people in these circles, they're always connected one way or another. I have a feeling that authorities know that David's connected with good lawyers, so that's why they're taking forever to arrest him. They're trying to get all their ducks in a row and failing. Also, I wanted to mention that David's father is also in the religious world. No surprise here, right? There's actually him preaching right here on a live stream at the Pentecostals of West Houston. But back to this legal filing, because it's really interesting that they're not standing by their son's side. And honestly, I'm glad they're not, because who could? Dawood, his father, Colleen, his mother, and his brother, Caleb Burke, who all live in Texas, claimed they were denied due process because they were given redacted versions of the affidavits used to support a lower Texas court's order summoning them to be witnesses in the California grand jury proceeding. Now that's interesting because we know that there's been a grand jury convened since at least November in the Celeste Rivas murder case, and multiple witnesses have already testified. Remember, the grand jury is put together so the prosecutors can see if they have enough evidence to go and pursue murder charges against David for the murder of Celeste. Essentially, they don't have that much evidence, not great evidence, but they have enough to go and present it to a jury, and the jury will say, hey, yeah, you can go and convict this person of this crime. We're giving you permission to do so because most likely a new jury would think the same way. David's family contends that because the affidavits were redacted, they had no info on why they would be considered material witnesses in the case, and they didn't have the opportunity to challenge the trial court's determination that they are in fact material witnesses. So they just they want to know why they're being called, what kind of questions they're going to be asked, and why are they being considered witnesses, because they're trying to act like they had no idea who Celeste was.
So just like Neo, David's dad does not want to testify in front of this grand jury against his son, and he's filing this under the guise that him having to testify would be unconstitutional and against his liberty. Now, him citing due process could mean several different things. One, there was a lack of notice. He wasn't properly informed of why.
Nah, that's not actually what he's saying. He's not saying that it'd be unconstitutional for him to testify against his own son. No. What he said is that they redacted the summons, and so they are not able to read everything and properly defend themselves or know why they're being summoned, and they're challenging what information the prosecution has that actually says that they're material witnesses. What they're saying is, we don't even have any information to give you. So what authority or what information do you have that can designate us as material witnesses, therefore giving you the authority to force us to testify before the grand jury? That's what they're saying. They're not saying, oh, you can't make us testify because, that's our parents. That stuff only exists between husband and wife, clergy and parishioner, stuff like that. They're not enacting that because that doesn't exist. A parent could testify against their son. They're saying, we're not material witnesses. Give us the proof that we're material witnesses, and we can't verify that we're material witnesses because you redacted the information inside of the document that would say that that proves that we're material witnesses. That's what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. Let's keep going.
He was being summoned. 2, the summon is so broad and vague that they don't know how to prepare or what they are attending for. Or 3, their right to silence. Testifying might force them to incriminate themselves or someone else that they are close to without proper protection.
Which I know for sure that David's brother Caleb does know who Celeste is. We've seen them photographed together at concerts before. Luckily for us, the judge has to answer soon. They have to answer within 10 days. So at that point, the judge will determine if the family needs to come to court or not. I was actually caught off guard by this picture of Colleen, David's mother. This was actually when she was outside of an gun store, and I believe she left leaving with a manual for a gun. Ooh, and not just any type of weapon, an AR-15 manual she had outside of a Texas gun store. So why would she need that? Colleen was seen reading.
Dude, I want an AR-15 too. Shoot. I got a Ruger 9mm. I need a gun. Let's keep
through
going.
an AR-15
Nothing wrong with that. This is America.
manual in photos that were published to the Daily Mail.
David's mom, Colleen Burke, has been spotted shopping at a Texas pawn and gun store. She was seen leaving the Tomball Pawn and Jewelry near Houston on Thursday, holding an instruction manual for an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. She's the first person close to David to be seen since the news about Celeste broke.
Colleen was spotted out in public down in Texas reading through an AR-15 manual. She was wearing a shirt that had the phrase "send nudes" on it. I'm just gonna hope to God that she just doesn't know what that means. But our friend Steve the investigator explained that he feels hopeful on X, stating that the footnote within this document stated California, the state of California versus David Burke, which shows that there is a case that has been formed, which pretty much tells me the grand jury has indicated that they will go and All
right, so this is footnote. The people of the state of California versus David Burke is especially significant to me and could signal we are getting close to the beginning of justice for Celeste, excuse me. Somebody, moderators highlighted this comment from Leslie. Leslie said, during litigation, each side requests information. His job, talking about the father, is to sift through documents to find the information being requested. That is what the relativity platform is used for. So I guess it's like an internal search engine kind of situation, like kind of indexes and catalogs these documents. And I guess it allows for people to kind of search through it. Big shout out to Leslie for showing that love. I guess she's like involved in that stuff. Like, what do you do, Leslie? Talk to us. Let us know what you do that gave you that information. Keep going.
Approve of charges being placed upon David. I just don't know why they're continuing.
Hey, hold on real quick. I haven't asked like this whole live stream, have I? I haven't. Please hit that like button, support the channel so we can get into the algorithm. Please hit that like button, support the channel. We want to get into algorithm so we can be shown to a wider audience. Don't make me your dirty little secret, please. Share me with the whole world, okay? Share me with the whole world, all right? This channel is a polygamous channel. We want to be in everybody's ear. So please share. Let's keep going.
To do this grand jury and they're not already arresting him yet. Maybe they just want to make sure they've got all the evidence in play, or they want to like go and charge more people. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another suspect popping up and sometime soon. We'll actually get to that in a moment. So essentially, David's family was subpoenaed to appear before a grand jury in California. They live in Texas and they were trying to avoid having to comply. It means they're refusing to answer the subpoena until they're provided with an explanation as to why they have to be there. It's a major defensive maneuver to ensure the investigation follows the letter of law. I swear his parents both knew that he was not right in the head, and for a very long time. I think they must know some of what has gone on, and they can't swear on the Bible and protect their vile son, which is interesting because they are religious people. Also, I do want to note that I do think that they felt that he's been demonic or whatever, possessed for some time. As we know, his father is a religious.
Wait, what is he talking about? People demonically possessed? What? What? We got to go back. He just that one just flew right by. By the way, Leslie said that she has a law degree and she's working on being an attorney and she does this work. What did he say about demonically possessed? What the? Hold on here.
I just don't know why they're continuing to do this grand jury and they're not already arresting him yet. Maybe they just want to make sure they've got all the evidence in play, or they want to like go and charge more people. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another suspect popping up and sometime soon. We'll actually get to that in a moment. So essentially, David's family was subpoenaed to appear before a grand jury in California. They live in Texas and they were trying to avoid having to comply. It means they're refusing to answer the subpoena until they're provided with an explanation as to why they have to be there. It's a major defensive maneuver to ensure the investigation follows the letter of law. I swear his parents both knew that he was not right in the head, and for a very long time. I think they must know some of what has gone on, and they can't swear on the Bible and protect their vile son, which is interesting because they are religious people. Also, I do want to note that I do think that they felt that he's been demonic or whatever, possessed for some time. As we know, his father is
okay. That's Sloan's opinion that he think he's demonically possessed. I can't say I don't disagree. I can't say I disagree. I can't say it. I do believe in that stuff. Sloan might be onto something. I mean, we look at his eyes and we see just cold-blooded. Euclid mindset, when 199 Sutra says, what happens if they all take a plea? And they can plead the fifth, but then they're considered hostile witnesses. Like, what are you pleading the fifth for? You know, that's self-incrimination. If you plead the fifth, that means that you're a part of it. You did something wrong. Somebody else said that I'm their bubble bath secret. I can't find that comment, though. Very naughty. Bubble bath secret, whatever. I want to be everybody's bubble bath secret. Put me in that algorithm so I could go ahead and be in everybody's bubble bath. All right, let's keep going, man.
Religious man. He participates in the church. His mother's also religious. So I could imagine them struggling to lie under oath to protect their evil son who's been making music and imagery that is really disturbing. And at one point in an interview, David expressed that his mom was concerned about some of the lyrics he was singing.
I knew it was cool if she hated it. I played it for her in the car, and she was like, David, this song is too violent. You're talking about killing people in your music? No, not my son. And I was like, wait, I might be onto something, bro. So I dropped it right after that. And it went crazy. TikTok, viral, 1 million views overnight. I was like, oh, yeah, we cooking, boy.
This person writes that their son is guilty of murder. His day is coming. The money.
You know what the funny thing is? We love to like demonize parents and stuff like that. I am not trying to be in nobody's bath named Rockman and Rudy. I'm good. I bet you Rudy and Rockman both look like big bubbas. Guarantee you, man. They some big old bubbas. Come on over here, strategic. And they probably take baths with them rubber duckies too, I guarantee you. Listen, we love to make fun and we love to go after these parents, but think about how by all accounts, these parents look like they tried their best with David. To be honest with you. They're hardworking, middle-class people trying to raise their children, in a good, safe environment. And David turned out to be a freaking psychopath. Allegedly. Maybe. Who knows? We'll figure it out in a couple of months. Think about how you would feel if you were in their situation. Think about that, man. Think about putting all this work, time, and energy into a child. Then this child not just be on the cusp of success, but like being an icon, right? Not saying that. Who knows? Maybe he would have longevity in the game. Maybe not. I don't know. But your son is doing amazing things. He's about to be a star. He's pulling in millions of dollars. He seems to be talented and everything is working right. And then you find out that he's now embroiled in murder of a minor girl. The stress that these people are under is unfathomable. Now, I'm sure it's nothing compared to the stress that the Rivas Hernandezes are going through, if they care. Because we all know that they didn't give a damn, in my opinion, at least. Oh, they're going to care when they get that civil case going. They're going to be crying and wailing for that millions that they're going to get out of David for the wrongful death lawsuit. They definitely going to care then, but they didn't care when she was alive, in my opinion. Just my opinion. What is my opinion? Worth nothing. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. It's alleged. But I do feel empathy for David's family, for the Burkes. Because the Burkes don't come off to me like they're bad people. The Burkes don't come off to me like they're bad people. And who's to say that David said, hey, this is my girlfriend. And they said, yeah, you look kind of young. How old are you? She said, I'm 18. It's like, all right. I mean, seriously, how many of you guys are going to ask your son's girlfriend for ID? Honestly, let's be honest here. How many of you guys, when you meet your son's girlfriend once or twice at a concert or something like that, is going to say, hey, she got ID. Let me see her ID. Not that many of you are going to do that. So I don't know. I don't know how much blame the Burkes should be getting. I know how much blame David should be getting. Let's keep going.
pipeline to the parents is over. If they don't appear freely, then they will no doubt be
And
arrested.
somebody said Charlotte said she asked her daughter's boyfriend for it. Listen, I'm with you on that one because girls are different. You know what I'm saying? I think I might do the same thing. Like if my daughters bring home some dude, he looks a little older than I think he should look. I'm like, how old are you? You got ID on you? But then I'm a cop, so I'm used to doing that. But like, how many people's gonna ask their son's girlfriend? Like daughters, we're all more protective of our daughters. So I'm gonna give you that. But we're not that protective of our sons. So if your son is like, yo, how old is your girlfriend? You know, she's 18, Dad. It's like, all right, she's 18. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little out of touch. Let's keep going.
Forced to appear. Mommy and daddy are material witnesses because they had him and raised him to be the creep and killer that he is, and another fool who thinks he can get away. I do wonder if his parents move, I mean, of course, them not showing up, if they were to show up, that would have been helpful, right? So clearly their move is either in their favor or possibly in David's favor. Maybe they are putting up this fight not because they feel like due process was violated, but because it's going to help their son in some way. Maybe he can escape out of the country or just buy him some time in his case. And they were successful. I mean, they bought at least 10 days for the judge to go and determine whether they have to go to California or not, which are 10 more days that David is living as a free man. Let's actually talk about some potential.
All right, so D4VD is guilty. This person committed. I love him. Says, yeah, but they are still defending him now. You know, once again, maybe I'm desensitized because let's be honest here. Everybody's family always defends them. All right. I've never arrested a perp whose family was not in his corner. Period. Even friends, you know? So like I'm used to that. That's like a given. That family is going to defend their loved ones, even when their loved ones might be guilty of sin. So that really doesn't make much. It doesn't sway me much. You know, I wish that we would live in a world that people would have the honor and the dignity to say, hey, you know what? You did something wrong. I love you and I support you, but I also want justice for the victim. It is what it is. But just like in the Stephen Stearns case and every other case we've ever covered on YouTube and every case that I've ever done in the real world, the family always circles the wagon and supports the loved one. It's just the way it is, the way human nature is. It is what it is. Let's keep going.
Suspects. I want to talk a little bit about Neo because this smug smile that he has in this mugshot will haunt him for the rest of his life. You guys remember Neo was arrested in Montana because he ran off to his mom's home to hide away from the LAPD because he didn't want to show up in court and testify against his best buddy, David. I mean, I'm assuming that, like, did Neo have part in, like, you know, dismembering and disposing of Celeste? Because I can't imagine him going into court and just lying to everyone, but he did appear in court finally after being dragged there by police. Reports are stating that Neo spoke for only like 30 to 40 minutes. Quote, given Neo's friendship with David, who is a suspect in this murder, it's surprising that the deputy DA, Beth Silverman, only spent 40 minutes with him. The prosecutor has been aggressive with questioning witnesses. Maybe Beth has been aggressive with the witnesses. We do have a clip of her outside of court going into the hearing that Neo was testifying in, and she had nothing to say to reporters, which is actually like how it's supposed to be. The lawyers cannot speak to the reporters. It would go against their ethics.
Into court today. Can you tell us anything about where you are in the case? Why is Neo being called as a witness? Why hasn't David been arrested, or where's David at? Can you tell us anything?
Well, you guys are probably wondering, where is Neo at? Well, he was there as well, this time trying his best not to smile when he was being asked questions.
Called to testify today. How did everything go in there? Why were you avoiding testifying? Do you think David is innocent?
You sound like Minnie Mouse.
Is there anything you want to tell the public about the David case? Anything?
One person stated on Reddit that he pled the fifth, which is probably what he did. Like, that's why he wasn't there for that long, because he just pled the fifth the entire time and didn't answer any question. One person writes, not even 30 days on contempt of court to...
All right, I'm not going to jack Sloan's whole live stream because we covered a lot of this stuff already. So please go over to Sloan, watch the rest of that. It's good stuff though, but yeah, come on. You know, you guys know how I am. I have my own sense of like honor on YouTube, right? Like, I like to respect other content creators and other platforms. So I just don't, if I feel like it's not super probative, because maybe we've covered it before, I don't want to just watch a person's whole stream when you guys could go over to their platform and give them that view because they've worked hard for it. And as a young YouTube channel, we're trying to do the same thing, and we hope that other streams would do us the same respect, right? So yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground today. We're on the road to justice. We're on that road to justice for Celeste. It's a slow road, it's a slow ride, but we're getting there. And so we just got to keep praying, keep staying positive, and remember what I've told you guys. These cases take time. Don't listen to what other YouTubers are telling you that justice should have happened yesterday. No, these cases take time. Take it from me, a person who knows what it is to build a case. I build cases every single day. They take time. You have to be patient. All right. And what that prosecutor doing is she's building a solid case, and it's going to be a while before we get there. But when we get there, we're going to get there, and we're going to get there on solid ground with confidence. All right. They could arrest David tomorrow, and then David could be a free man in 3 to 6 months. Or they could arrest David 3 to 6 months from now, and he might spend the rest of his life in prison if, in fact, he had something to do with the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. All right. So we don't want fast justice. We want justice. All right, we want quality justice. We want that forever justice. All right, guys, I love you guys immensely. You guys have been great. Big shout out to all my members who are joining me today. Big shout out to all of my Patreon subscribers. Appreciate you guys immensely. We'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out the door. Strategic is out of here. Peace.